In this video, I'm going to show you how to upload custom fonts to your Squarespace website. Squarespace comes with a huge library of Google and Adobe fonts. Now, I have a separate tutorial on how to install Adobe fonts on your Squarespace website, but if you want to install a Google font, the first thing you need to do is check to make sure that it's not already in the Squarespace font library. So to do that, you want to click on the Site Styles icon, click the arrow next to Fonts. You can choose either headings or paragraphs depending on what you're trying to do, and then select the font dropdown and search for the name of the font that you want to use here. If you find it, then great, you can just select it and you don't need to do anything else. If it's not here, then you'll need to upload the font. So to upload a font, you want to click on the upload button here. You can either drag and drop your font files here or click the plus button. I'm going to install a font called Sailing Club, and you want to select all of the font files for the different styles that you're going to be using. So here I have the regular version and the italic version. Now, if you're uploading a Google font, sometimes Google font files will have variable styles within the same file. And in those cases, the word variable will usually be in the file name. So I'm going to select open and those will upload now. And once those fonts are uploaded, we can go back and we can select them in the uploaded fonts section here. So I've done that, and now you can see that my heading style has changed. Now, one of the shortcomings of Squarespace is that the same font family applies to headings 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's no way in the settings to set a different font family for just one of those heading sizes. And it's not uncommon for people to want to use a different font for the fourth heading and use that as kind of a subheading or a pre-header or something like that. So to do that, we need to use CSS code. So I'm going to save this out, and then I'm going to open up the CSS panel by pressing / on my keyboard and searching for custom CSS. And we're going to add a little custom code here. So I'm going to specify H4, which is the fourth heading, add my curly brackets, and then we're going to say font family, and you can add the name of the font family that you want to use for your fourth heading right here, and then close with a semicolon. Now, that's one way to do this. I personally prefer to use a variable. So very often you'll want to use the same font for your heading 4 that you use for maybe your button text or your body text. And in that case, it can be much faster and easier simply to specify that. So instead of entering the exact font family, I'm going to paste in this code here, and this is going to pull in the body font from the Squarespace settings. So if you change the body font in the site styles, it will also automatically change it for the heading 4 without you having to go in and edit this code. Now, I can never remember these variables, so I have them stored down here, but you could do the same thing with the primary button font. So if we wanted to make the heading 4 match the button font, we can do that. And if I scroll down, you can see an example of this right here. It will change it on the heading 4. So just to demonstrate how this works, we're going to go into the site styles. I'm going to click on the arrow next to fonts, click on buttons, and we're going to change the primary button font right here. So you can see this is the heading 4. And if I change the primary button font to something different, let's do Lotto, you can see that it changes it for the heading 4 as well. That's a much more efficient way to do this than going through the CSS code every time you want to change your fonts and manually entering all of those values. Now, there's lots of different ways that you can customize your fonts using CSS code. For example, if you wanted to have a specific font style for the heading 2 in italics, you could totally do that. You would just type H2 space EM, open up your curly brackets, and then you could specify the font family or the font style or whatever you want. There's a blog post linked in the video description that has a bunch of copy and paste code to make this really easy. So definitely check that out. But just to demonstrate, I'm going to copy and paste this variable in here. And we're going to go in here. I'm going to change this heading to an H2 just for the purposes of demonstration. And I'm going to make this word italic. And you can see that that would automatically change it to be the font that we just set it as. And we could add other styles here as well. So for example, we could change the font weight to something a little bit bolder. You can really do anything you want with this. Now, obviously this doesn't look very good, but it just shows you how creative you can get by using CSS code.